Hey everyone, Jackie here with Women Kick Balls, and really excited to dive into career advice. And so that's what today's video is going to be about, since I do get a lot of questions about just different aspects of my career as well, since I'm an independent sports journalist and freelance content creator. So I'm going to dive more into what that means, but the two just kind of overall themes that I wanted to talk about, which also go hand in hand, is number one, to not be afraid to try new things, and number two, to always give your full potential in whatever project that you're doing. So just going to dive more into my personal experience and what that looks like. So growing up, I've always been really creative as a kid, whether it was drawing or building Legos, or obviously later on in life doing a lot of photo and video and graphics and things like that. So being that I've always been a creative type of person, I really enjoy just learning new things about art. And so when I was in high school, I had this photography class, and not only did we learn more about the fundamentals of photography, but we actually learned a little bit about graphic design as well. And so that's where I really fell in love with photography and graphic design, and then combining those two aspects, because we'd have projects where we would use our photos and design different photo books or whatever. So that's why I really loved just learning about graphic design and photo. But a lot around that same time too, I also discovered my passion as being a writer, and that's when I was really set out to be a sports journalist at 17. So being that I was like all set on being a writer, I thought that I had to give up my passions of photography and graphic design and those creative elements and like leave them behind and just focus on the writing aspects. And so that's kind of what I did for a few years, and it wasn't until like midway through college where I rediscovered my passion for photography and graphic design. And so as I got into that, it allowed me to build up a really good marketing portfolio as I was managing teams and working on different types of projects in college while also writing as well. And so then I kind of realized, once I created Women Kick Balls in 2019, that I could like really combine the best of all the worlds of writing, doing graphics and photos, and different things like that. Being that I've always managed my own website, I also learned too that website skills and website development and editing skills are really useful. And so that's kind of where I've been able to just have a variety of different projects throughout my career. And then, so I started in college, like I said, got into photo, graphic design, and marketing and writing, and started building up more skills. But with that, I also avoided doing video and audio work for a few years because I was super intimidated by it, and I just didn't know how it worked. It seemed like, it was really complicating, and so I didn't touch that. I would turn down projects. And it wasn't until I went to grad school, I actually got my master's degree in journalism, University of Oregon, go Ducks. That wasn't planned, I just am wearing it. But when I was in my grad program, the first class I had was video and audio production. And so I was like so nervous because it was something I didn't want to do for years, and I fell in love with it. So then I added photo and video skills to my toolbox, essentially. And now as a writer, or a sports journalist, you have a lot of your stories on different mediums. And so because I'm diverse in these different skills, I'm able to utilize those skills in putting my work on more platforms and more mediums. And so that's just kind of a quick summary of how that kind of got started. But even this past April 2022, is when I really realized that I can take all these skills and still use them under Women Kick Balls, because after I graduated from my undergrad and during grad school, I had marketing jobs, but in different like career industries, and I hated them because they were like in stuff I wasn't passionate about. So in April, then I branched out and became like full-time freelancer and offered my media skills to different sports companies and athletes as well. And so that's kind of where, again, I get the mix of everything, which is what I loved. But my whole point in telling you kind of this synopsis of my career and what I do is that if I was intimidated by video and wasn't open to learning it, I probably wouldn't have a few clients that I do right now. And so I think that it's really important to just be open to learning and being adaptable. I know some people who are like really great photographers but have no idea how to construct a story around those photos that they've taken. Or I know really great graphic designers, but they struggle in other areas. And all that to say, I'm not saying this to like toot my own horn or anything, because I dabble in a lot of areas and specialize in those different things. But I would say, like, again, just don't be afraid to try new things, because there's, yeah, definitely better photographers and better videographers and people who specialize in one field, and that's fine too. But again, that leads me to my second point of whatever you do, make sure you're doing it to your fullest potential. Because, I mean, for example, my current state, I can be like have all these skills in what I do, but if I don't do them to my fullest potential, then people aren't going to want to work with me. So even sometimes if I'm working on a website project or a certain video aspect, and maybe it's not my strongest suit in terms of that editing style, or working on a certain type of platform, I'll always find a way to make it work and then still reach my full potential. So yeah, that's what I really want to encourage and leave you all with, is like whatever you specialize in, whether it's 1 skill or 5 skills, just make sure you're giving it your best, because that's how you're going to get better too, and then you're setting the bar and the standard for yourself. You're not constantly setting it low and just kind of getting by and being comfortable in your skills. And too, with working in the sports industry, like styles and just different graphic design elements are always changing as well. So I think it's just important to always be open to learning and being adaptable, because you're also probably going to get more opportunities that way. So for example, I know photo and video go hand in hand a lot, so if you want to do that, great. Or if you want to, like, I don't know, find other passions of yours that you have, like, just know that there probably is a way to bring those two things together, even though they feel like very separate maybe at the moment. So just wanted to kind of give a quick summary and snippet of just my career and what that's been like for me in terms of bringing all of my passions together, when I just thought, if I'm gonna be a writer, I have to focus on writing and leave behind all these other creative elements. That's totally not true. There's always ways to find just a way to make it work, and it's been really fun and challenging to make this career of my own and kind of start from the ground up. I've never had anyone to learn from, so just wanted to share my insight as someone who has literally learned along the way, and sometimes have learned the hard way as well. So if you found this video helpful, it'd be really great if you can spread the love by either giving it a like or subscribing here on YouTube. And if you want to get more soccer specific content around the NWSL or US Women's National Team, you can head to womankickballs.com, and that's where I provide all free accessible news. And when you subscribe to that, you actually get a free Woman Kickball sticker. So, I mean, why would you not want one of these? It's free. And sometimes I have extra trading cards as well, so you might get one of these. But yeah, appreciate you all being here, and looking forward to seeing you next week, where I'll be sharing more about my top 3 monthly favorites and just what has made a difference in my work. So looking forward to seeing you then.